One of the great difficulties in teaching writing is coming up with extensive reading for students, finding texts to be able to do this, and often we find ourselves either purchasing extensive reading materials, things that were written specifically for ESL students, readers, and short novellas and things like that. It gets more difficult the progressively lower you go in level, but there exists this great body of public domain literature, things that have gone out of copyright that are available for us. But the problem is their reading level is sometimes higher than even the freshman university native speaker level. So how do we get these texts and use them in a way that our students can access them, especially the lower level students? Well, ChatGPT and other AIs are capable of taking these public domain texts, which are free to use, and paraphrasing them or rewriting them at an appropriate level. I've taken here the introduction to The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And you can see on the left the original text here. It says, "The time traveler, for so it will be convenient to speak of him, was expounding a recondite matter to us." At the end, we see, "We lazily admired his earnestness over this new paradox, as we thought it, and his fecundity." A lot of native speakers of English are going to struggle with things like trammels of precision and recondite matters. So, how much more so would our non native speaker students struggle with this? I took the text of just this first selection here and gave it to ChatGPT with the prompt, "Could you rewrite this text for an ESL reader at a C1 level?" ChatGPT has a good familiarity with CIFAR levels. Not perfect, but good. And this is what it came out with for the C1 level. The time traveler, that's what we'll call him for now, was explaining a difficult idea to us. So explaining a difficult idea to us instead of expounding a recondite matter. At the end, we thought his idea was strange, but we were impressed by how many ideas he had. Instead of, we lazily admired his earnestness over this new paradox and his fecundity. This is something a higher level ESL reader might be able to tackle. And then just for comparison, I asked it to rewrite it at the A2 level. That's the middle box here. It says, "The time traveler, we call him that for now, was telling us about a strange idea. His gray eyes looked bright and his pale face was full of energy. At the end, the idea was strange, but we could see he had thought about it a lot." And then even more reduced at the A1 level, we see the nice, simple declarative sentences. "We call him the time traveler. He was talking to us. He had a strange idea. His eyes were gray and bright. His face looked excited. At the end, the idea was strange, but he had many ideas." So this can take an existing text and make it accessible for students at a variety of levels. You can kind of change it on the fly depending on the particular abilities of your students. And then I took the entire chapter 1, the introduction, and asked it to rewrite it at the B1 level. And here's what we get. I'm not going to read the whole thing. "We called him the time traveler. It's not his real name, but it was easier to call him that. One evening after dinner, he was telling us about a strange idea. His pale gray eyes were bright, and his face, usually pale, looked full of energy and excitement." So we get a text that's easier to access for learners, but at the same time, it still feels like natural English. It still feels like we're reading a piece of literature.